So, how does Lensing's work relate to forestry and forestry management and conservation?
Yes. For lensing, all of our products come from wood pulp from trees. So forestry is integral to everything that we do as a raw material. For lensing, we have a pulp policy so that all of our pulp or trees are certified or controlled. This pulp policy is public. We have an annual sustainability report. So we really can give the assurance to our customers, to our yarn spinners, and further down the supply chain that their wood pulp or trees is responsibly sourced.
Do you have any opinions on or knowledge about, where are the greatest risks for deforestation in relation to the textile sector as well?
Yes. So as far as deforestation, really, I think there's pockets throughout the entire world. We've been involved in some conservation efforts in Albania as well as in the broadback forests in Canada. Those are certain areas that we've been looking at, but when you look at some of the deforestation in the Amazon and in West Africa, these are also key regions. For lensing, we do a lot of sourcing near our headquarters in Lensing, Austria for different tree species. And we really have to look at the overall pie and what is being used. And so if you look at all of the fibers in the world, there's about 100 million tons of fibers. 60% of that is synthetic, about 25% is cotton, and man-made cellulosics is about 6%. So of that 6%, when you look at the need for pulp, only 2 to 3% of the pulp is actually going into textile fiber use. So while we need to be responsible for that 2 to 3% of what's being used, I think there's also, we need to look at alternatives and the growth of man-made cellulosics when we look at the entire pie of fibers.
What is Lensing doing to address issues of deforestation and combat them?
Yeah, so sustainability is core to everything that we do at Lensing. And even though we only manufacture fiber, this is all that we make, is just fiber, we realize that that's not enough. We have to work together with the entire supply chain and the stakeholders to make sure that our product is the best that it can be in the market with the lowest impact. So we do work with organizations like Canopy, FSC, Changing Markets, ZDHC, and many others to make sure that all of their concerns are also addressed to make the best possible product.
Do you have any opinions on how the textile industry can improve its traceability when it comes to sourcing wood for man-made cellulosics?
Well, I think as far as improving our traceability, for lensing, we have a pulp policy. This is public information that we share, and many of the retailers and brands have also come to us as they've been developing their own pulp policies to cross-check that. But important for lensing is the fiber identification process that we have. So the beauty of having a man-made cellulosic fiber is that when it's in its solvent stage, so as we go from, we have our tree here represented as our wood chips, we have our pulp here. When we're in the pulp stage, we add the solvent. When it's in this liquid stage, it's kind of a consistency like honey. We can add fiber identification at that point. And so then when the fiber is extruded and we have the ultimate fiber here, we can verify and trace that. So we have a whole branding and certification program that the fabrics are tested. So the mills submit their fabrics. They receive a quality number, a specific number to that particular fabric, which then goes into our database. And we recently launched an all-digital platform to be able to track the fibers, so that then the brands, when they go to order hang tags or if they want to verify that the fiber is actually using tensile lyocell or tensile modal, that there's a certification behind that.
If you could change or improve one thing, right, during the next 5 years, just one thing that would dramatically improve how we're addressing deforestation, combating deforestation, what would that thing be?
If there was one thing that we could change, I think we need to continue to look at alternative sources to wood. Because if we can start there, then we would need less trees to even manufacture what we have. And for lensing, we launched a product last year called Refibra Lyocell, which is actually, I'm wearing the Refibra today. And we need to continue to evolve, away from trees and use other sources. For Refibra, we're using post-industrial cotton waste. So we're bringing circularity into the supply chain and into textiles. That's so important. So we're taking the post-industrial cotton waste, we're making that into pulp like we have been. So on the same system of how we've been working for decades. And what we do is we blend the pulp from the wood with the pulp from the cotton scraps in order to make new tensile lyocell fiber, which we brand as Refibra. That Refibra can be used in a variety of end applications. I'm wearing this knit top today, but it's also used in denim. And we already have commercial programs at retail, so consumers already can start to take advantage of circularity in the supply chain.
Are there any other, besides reusing cotton waste, that could be good sources for the material that aren't from wood?
Yes. There are other raw material feedstocks that you could use. There's always been discussion in the industry about using bamboo. There's cotton linters, there's straw. But I think with some other alternative feedstock, you have to consider the scalability. And there's always trade-offs in impacts, right? So as you look at that, I feel using the cotton waste provides the best alternative from trees. For lensing, I think where we need to go is to look at alternatives that go to post-consumer, and this is the initiatives that we're taking. Right now, we're working on post-industrial waste cutting room scraps. That's simplest to sort and to build into our current systems. But where we all have to go as an industry together is getting to post-consumer. And that's going to take more work around collection and sorting and even designing into circularity. And that's what I see really needs to happen over the next 5 years. I'd just like to address that there's a lot of challenges that we face as an industry, and there needs to be an open-mindedness about how we can implement this. And often as I work with retailers and brands, they want the innovation, they want the sustainability, but they also want to not pay a penny more. And this is a challenge that I think will hold us back. And the innovation and the research has to happen at our level in the raw material stage and in the supply chain. But we really need the support and how we can collaborate together with retailers and brands and not be pushing us down and down on price. And let's make these decisions together. Let's have this commitment and a longer term vision around textiles and sustainability. We know fast fashion isn't getting us anywhere. We know we need to make changes, but it's also coming at a cost that we need to